Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Friday, August 7th, 2024. It is the day of the lovers. It is also Freya's day, Frigga's day, and Venus's day. It is the 12th of Leo. It is the 26th of Holly. It is the 12th of Salmon, and it is the 8th of Hayaner, which is the haymaking month. In our astrology, the sun is in Leo, fixed fire, which represents achievements. The moon is fourth quarter Cancer, cardinal water, representing growth. Mercury is in Virgo, mutable earth, which represents efficiency. Venus is in Leo, fixed fire, which means to be ardent. Mars is in Gemini, mutable air, which is to be pugnacious. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, which represents questing. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, which is mutable water, and it is about redefining dreams. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, which is renovation. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which represents spiritual awakening. Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, fixed air, which means to examine intentions. So, the mantras for our current planetary retrogrades, of which we have 4 at the moment. The Saturn retrograde is about reclaiming your authority. The Neptune retrograde is about reclaiming faith, joy, magic, and imagination. Pluto retrograde is about reclaiming your ability to regenerate. The Chiron retrograde is about restoring the heroic spirit. Now for the moon phase, it is still the waning crescent, so your keywords are rest, reflect, contemplate, especially after we had Lunasa yesterday. You're probably feeling just maybe a little bit drained, especially depending upon how involved you got involved in celebrations, so definitely keep things a little bit more low-key today. For the Cancer moon, it's supporting this more home buddy kind of energy. The do's are work from home, focus on family bonds, nurture friends. The don'ts are publicity, objectivity, emotionalism, all the things that either Cancer doesn't like or that it can get too far into. So on this day of Venus, we have Venus and the Sun both residing in the sign of Leo at the present moment. That casts an optimistic and a kind of romantic aura into the ether. So harness this mood by also drawing upon the energies of the Cancer moon to encourage emotional growth in your marriage or your relationship, because now is the time for people to get closer to one another. Our tarot for the day is the Four of Cups. Now, 4 in this deck represents stability. And the cups, think the emotional feminine, receptive energy, the water element, and the heart. The keywords for it are self-absorption, feeling disengaged, being unaware of others, ignoring blessings, being intolerant of others' advice, and withholding affection. So essentially, these are self-inflicted doldrums. This might be something that you are a trap you're trying to escape from, and this is your little nudge to start looking a little bit more outward at the moment. That would probably help. Or it could be a sign that, perhaps people in your circle, they are stuck in this. And for whatever reason, this is where they've decided they're going to live. This is their current mode. And they're not listening to anyone else who says that perhaps there could be a better way to handle things in general. But they're not listening. And so you perhaps need to create a little bit of distance, saying, okay, you go do you. And when you're done sulking or when you're done obsessing over things you either can't change or that you're not focused upon actual solutions, you're just wanting to complain about them. When you're done with all that, then you can come back and we can again re-engage with one another. But when someone is in this state, you really can't do a thing with them. And as proof, I offer up 90% of interactions you can witness on social media. So there you go. Our Celtic triad for today reads, 3 things unhandsome at a banquet: a skewer too short, a blunt knife, and a dish out of reach. So at a gathering, it is of utmost importance that implements are fit for purpose and that everything is conveniently arranged. And customs regarding table settings and table service, these things exist so that a meal can proceed smoothly without the distraction of technical difficulties. I realize that when someone is first learning about this sort of thing, it can feel a little bit forced, unnatural, and it doesn't flow very well for them. But once it becomes a habit, it makes everything so much easier. You don't want Sorry about the little glitch there. But you don't want confusion at the dinner table to be the focus of the occasion as opposed to other people's company. And if you are hosting, just remember, it is usually better to do things in the usual fashion. It makes it easier. It makes people feel more comfortable. It isn't a dullness or a lack of imagination. So take what you will of that. For today's magical correspondences, the theme is patience. The color is rose, the plant is rose, the animal is pig, and I found you the cutest one I could possibly find on Pinterest. And the crystal is the morganite, not to be confused with rose quartz. They actually are different stones. Patience is a virtue that's much spoken of and seldom practiced. It's just an example of a concept that people like to admire in theory, but they can't trouble themselves to actually do themselves. And well, I guess the challenge before us of are we going to be among that number? Are we going to exercise patience? Are we going to learn patience? Are we going to use these correspondences to perhaps help us with that, especially on the days where we do not feel inclined to be patient? Patience can help us in a lot of situations, even very difficult ones. And oftentimes, the more difficult the situation, the less we want to be patient. But if we can get past that particular emotional obstacle and just exercise the patience, see things through to the end, deal with things, allow things to unfold in a procedural way, you can get a better outcome in the end. Then for today's practice, what divine couple do you like best? And for this, I have the illustration of the alchemical marriage. I found it on Pinterest, and I believe it is available for purchase on Etsy. I did not see mention of the artist's name because, of course, not. But you see what this is representing. It's not just the coming together of the masculine and feminine. It's also the coming together of the elements, the coming together of magic, and the cup in the center, that grail, that is the spark of creation itself. There's a lot of beautiful symbolism in this picture, and there's a lot of beautiful symbolism in the divine couples that we read about in mythology. So who's your personal favorite? And then for today's Hermetic principle, it is cause and effect. This is a principle that I do wish people would pay more heed to. Everyone wants to defeat it and pretend like it doesn't apply to them or that it doesn't exist, but that just isn't the case. So studying a little bit about that, not only will that improve your understanding, but also it can help shoo away the voices inside of your head, rather, that'll say, oh no, this absolutely doesn't apply to me. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And then for the witch's pyramid, contemplating the interior. Now, the interior of the witch's pyramid is ideally filled with love. Certainly, that's what we would want a witch's actions to be motivated by. Certainly, it makes for a much better world when that is the case. And especially for my fellow practitioners, that I think this would be a good opportunity for us to be honest with ourselves about what are our motivations. Are we really using our magic out of a spirit of love and an effort to better ourselves and better the world around us, or have we perhaps been tempted, or actually done in the past, used it as a club, as a means to get back at someone, as a means to avoid dealing with problems directly? So it's just something to think about. And then if you are fortunate enough to have a sweetie who is also pagan or who is comfortable with the practice of meditation, maybe make some time this evening just to meditate with them. It can be very calming, and especially if you have been working through more difficult issues recently, doing some quiet meditation, but doing it together, especially if you're, one thing that I like to do when I've done meditations with a man before is simply holding hands, just gently breathing, feeling the energies, allowing things to calm down. It can be a very bonding experience. And then last but not at all least, try an herbal bath this evening for relaxation. Now, for today's journaling prompt, think about your current or your most recent romantic relationship. What has been the harvest of this bond? What has come of this particular connection? Hopefully, this is a cause for happy reflection. But if it isn't, I would encourage you not to shy away from that. It doesn't mean that your situation is doomed. But if you're going to improve your relationship, you're going to have to be honest about what has come of it, how it was entered into, all of these other things, so that if there are problems that need to be corrected, you actually have a fighting chance to do so. So, on that note, have an absolutely wonderful Friday. You can follow me at Blackbird's Brew on X. My videos are available on YouTube and Rumble. And of course, you can now find me at the Oak and Elder Witchery. It has been open for the second day now. The link is in the description, and hopefully some of our compatriots are starting to pop in, pay a visit, and, starting to get acquainted, fingers crossed. And of course, at any time, if you do want to reach out to me a little bit more privately, you can reach me at Brigantia Blackbird at protonmail.com. And that does it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I'm looking forward to hopefully visiting. Sorry about the glitch. Not sure how much of that cut out. I was just saying that I look forward to seeing what you had to say in the comments. I also look forward to bumping into any of you who might be joining the witchery. I do hope that we'll have a chance to get to know each other better. But that will do it for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.